This herbivorous dragon found an egg in the river and found an egg and brought it back to the colony and incubated it with its own children, but it was attacked by egg thieves, with the mother defending the eggs. Only 2 eggs remained intact. Soon the eggs hatched, but the baby dinosaurs, clearly different from them. Not only was his skin color different, even their teeth were jagged. This caught the attention of the pack leader that it was a carnivorous dinosaur. They wanted to get rid of it before it's too late. Thanks to the protection of the mother of the dragon, the film didn't end there, but the pack was not willing to accept the alien. She had to send him to a cave full of red berries, but just as she was leaving, listening to Hart's squealing cries, she couldn't bear it. She made a difficult decision to raise her 2 children alone, and so the 2 brothers spent their days away from the pack. They spent their days playing in the forest. Hart was a very picky eater. He only ate red berries. One day, they went out into the wilderness to look for something to eat, but Hart was attracted to a squirrel. He chased him into a hole in a tree. He accidentally fell off a cliff. The brothers fell off the cliff and lost their heads. When they woke up, they saw a strange dinosaur. They were scared out of their wits, so they hugged each other and shivered when the big dinosaur got close to Hart and took a closer look at it. He was so scared. He ran away. The brothers were relieved, but the older brother said that Hart looked like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and that's why he was scared away. Hart cried out in frustration. He even jumped into his mum's arms and complained. He was convinced that he wasn't a T-Rex, to which his mum had to comfort him. Although you and your brother are different, but you are both the pride of your mother. As the days went by, Hart had a feeling that he had a lot of energy, that there was no end to his energy. He decided to find food on his own, so he kept running through the forest, and it's amazing how excited he gets. Before he knew it, he was out of the forest. He came to a vast plain, and he bumped into some T-Rexes. They are hunting a Triceratops. Hart has never seen such a scene. He was so scared that he couldn't stop shaking. Soon a huge one-eyed with one eye. It ended the fight with a single blow. His name is Buck. He is the leader of the plains. Hart watched as a group of T-Rexes gathered around a corpse and feasted on it. He's scared out of his wits. All he could do was try to get out of there, but he's been spotted. Now all the T-Rexes have gathered round. They kept sniffing at Hart, that he smelled like an herbivore. It scared the kid. Luckily, Buck took pity on him. He told the T-Rexes to let him go and told Hart to go back to his family. It's only then that he escapes with his life. But one T-Rex is suspicious and followed him quietly from behind. Hart is terrified. He just wanted to get back to his family. Then he saw his brother, but then the T-Rex appeared out of nowhere. He kicked his brother out of the way. He wondered how a meat eater, how did he get mixed up with the grass eaters? And then he told Hart that Hart was a T-Rex. It was too much for Hart to handle, and he went straight for it and bit off his tail. He tasted the flesh and blood. The taste of flesh and blood unleashed his bloodthirsty nature, and he pounced on his brother. But in the end, he was able to restrain himself. But this kind of madness is too terrible. In order to avoid hurting his family, he had no choice but to leave. He ran into the forest without looking back. This Tyrannosaurus Rex is a bit of a revelation. Halfway across the street, he was bumped into. He's got a son out of nowhere. A pink baby T-Rex. You look delicious. The baby T-Rex has big eyes. He recognized his father right away. He hugged his leg and wouldn't let go. He kept calling out, "Daddy." He thought it was delicious. That's his name. You called me by my name, so you are my father. It's a very strong name. What does it mean? It's a cute little guy. It made Hart's fatherly heart swell with love. He couldn't bear to eat it again, so he told himself, it'll be better when it's fattened up. It was a decision that he made. That's what cured him of his life. At night, Hart had a nightmare. He dreamt that he had swallowed his mother. It woke him up with a start. He was afraid the dream had come true. It's delicious. It's a big eater. He ate and pooped at the same time. Soon he was eating a labyrinth in the grass. Hart was getting hungry, so he told Tasty to stay where he was. Stay where you are and don't go anywhere. And he went off to hunt a little ways away. But Hutter was still uneasy. Soon he was running back in just a few moments, and Tasty was gone. Hart searched the nearby meadows, but he couldn't find Yum Yum. Seriously suspected that it had been eaten by the dinosaurs in the neighborhood. Just when he was losing hope, Yummy was carrying a bunch of berries. With a bunch of berries on his back, Hart was angry and scolded him and said if he didn't behave, he'd be someone else's baby. Tasty cried out in frustration, so he traveled so far to look for red berries so that he could eat with his father. At that moment, Hart's heart melted, but they had to be separated after all. Tasty will know the truth one day, just like he did in the beginning. In order for Yummy to live on his own, Hart began to train him. First, he practiced the ability to dodge, then Iron Head Kung Fu and the ancestral dragon's tail. He taught him all the 18 martial arts skills. It didn't take long for Yum Yum to get the hang of it. When it was time to part, Hart solemnly told him, you must live on your own from now on. But Tasty didn't want to part with him. He wouldn't part with him. Hart had to trick him into running with him. Dad, Dad, Dad. If I win, you'll be with me forever. In order to be with Dad forever, Tasty ran as hard as he could, but Hart was in the middle of his run. He turned around and ran in the opposite direction. Dad, 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 let's go. Yummy. Forward. Yummy ran forward with all his might, but he didn't look where he was going. He ran into the foot of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It looked back with a vengeance and looked at Yummy. It's over. This little dinosaur is bruised and battered. It's been kicked around by a bunch of T-Rexes and stomped on by a bunch of T-Rexes, tortured like a dragon. The screams reached Hart's ears. He ran back immediately and saw the dying Tasty in the mouth of the T-Rex. His anger level immediately increased. He rushed over and hit the iron head and sends the Tyrannosaurus Rex flying. While it's doing that, it takes the food in its mouth. The T Rexes attacked him immediately, but they are no match for Hart. He's moving all over the field. He's doing all sorts of moves, and in no time, he's got them all down. But this caused Buck's displeasure. He banished him from this grassland. He was forbidden to take another step. Hat ran away from him until he reached a safe place before spitting out his delicious meal. But the first thing he said when he woke up was, "Dad, I didn't lose our race. From now on, we can be together forever. Right, Dad?" From this moment on, Hart decided not to be separated from him. He held the delicious food in his mouth. He ran towards the setting sun. He came to a dreamy lake where a love affair across the racial divide, and from his mouth, he learned that Dinosaur Egg Mountain was about to explode. That's where Mum lived. With the guidance of his mate, Hart decided to go back to see her, but when he was passing through the plains, was blocked by a broken-tailed dinosaur. Hart was only able to defeat him, and defeated him in a single blow. As he fell, he told Tasty Hart was not his real father, but Tasty wasn't surprised. "I'm not a kid anymore, but my father is still my father." At that moment, the Dragon's Egg Mountain suddenly erupted. The earth shook and fires erupted. Hart immediately went to look for his mother's tribe, but he only saw his brother. He said Mum was still in her old home, so Hart ran towards the forest, and in his mind's eye of his childhood, finally, he found his mum at home. It turned out that she had a new baby. She didn't leave to protect them. Hart immediately led the group and fled to the forest, but the strong Buck suddenly stopped on the plains. Mother and brother were already paralyzed with fear. Hart had no choice but to stand up for his loved ones, despite the size difference. But Hart was not afraid. He kept looking for a chance to attack. Buck, on the other hand, has been playing passive defense. It's as if he's deliberately letting his opponent down. It turns out that Buck lost a dragon egg. Now it seems that Hart, he must be his son. He's going to use this duel to teach Hart how to fight. The real power of a T-Rex is its teeth, and not just a bunch of fancy footwork. In the end, the fight ended in a draw between father and son. Although Buck was badly hurt, but he was sadly happy. Perhaps he recognized Hart. The habitat has been destroyed. The herd is preparing to move to the north. They may never return. The mother wanted to stay with her children, but Hart shook his head and refused. He said his brothers that it's better for them to live together. Although we can't live together in the future, but I'm still very grateful for your support. I'm very lucky to be my mother's child. And then, Hart and Yum Yum ran off to a faraway land. The link of family will never be broken. Just as Meng Jiao said in his poem, the thread in the hands of a loving mother, the clothes on the body of a wandering son. No matter where you are, a mother's love will cross thousands of mountains, will always surround you like a spring breeze, to make you feel at ease.